Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in every life when the lights grow dim, when circumstances seem to close in, and the soul yearns for rescue. In such moments you may ask, who is with me now? The answer is not out there, it is within. God, your truest and most loyal friend, is not in some far-off heaven. He dwells in you, as your imagination, as your awareness, as your very breath. You do not need to seek him in temples or rituals, nor beg him from a distance. He waits in silence, right where you are, ready to respond, not to your words, but to your belief, to your assumption, to your feeling. For he is not a force of judgment, but of unconditional companionship, flowing through your thoughts and taking shape in your world. Every difficulty you face is not a punishment, but a setup for revelation. It is the shadow that proves there is still light. In your darkest hour, if you will turn inward and commune with that silent presence, you will see that what you called a problem was merely a challenge to remember who walks with you. When you imagine a solution, when you dare to see yourself beyond the struggle, when you assume the feeling of relief before it arrives, you are not merely wishing. You are speaking to your divine friend in the language he understands. Faith, vision, inner conviction, and he, being your very self in higher form, must respond, must obey. You are never alone. Your very awareness is God's presence. And this presence is creative. It molds the world to match the state you dwell in. Therefore, do not focus on the pain, but turn to the promise. Instead of pleading with life to change, step into the version of yourself where the change has already happened. Dwell in the joy before it manifests. Feel the answer, and the answer will clothe itself in flesh. No friend listens like God. No friend stays so close. When the world forgets you, he remembers. When fear shakes you, he whispers peace. When doubt clouds your mind, he is the quiet knowing beneath it all. This friend asks for no payment, only your trust. And the more you trust him, the more he moves in the world through you, as you, for you. Your difficulties are not greater than your God. In fact, they are the very field in which he reveals his nearness. Let your trouble be the invitation. Let your pain turn into prayer, not with words, but with imagination, with vision. Picture yourself victorious. Feel yourself free. Hear the sounds of your success. Smell the air of peace. In that sacred inner world where you do all this, you are not alone. God is there, shaping your desire into reality. What you assume becomes what you experience. Not because you forced it, but because your friend, the one within, has already said yes. So when storms come, do not tremble. Go within, speak in the silence, see in the unseen, and then walk in the world as though your prayer is already answered, because in truth it is. God is not far. God is not waiting. God is not delaying. God is here. God is now. God is you, in your highest, most loving, most powerful form. Trust him, walk with him, rest in him. And every difficulty will melt in the warmth of that friendship. God dwells within you as your imagination and awareness. He is not a being far away in the heavens, detached from your experiences, watching silently from above. No, he is closer than breath, more intimate than thought, living not outside you, but within you, as your own consciousness. When you look outward for solutions, when you seek help from external sources, you may forget the most powerful truth, that the infinite resides in you, expressing himself through the very faculties you often overlook, your ability to think, to feel, to imagine. The God you are searching for is already active in your life. not as a distant savior, but as the awareness through which you perceive your world and the imagination by which you shape it. Your imagination is not a mere fantasy tool. It is divine. It is the creative power of God working silently in the depths of your soul. Every image you hold persistently, every scene you dwell upon internally, every state you accept as real, these are seeds planted in the fertile ground of your consciousness. And these seeds do not lie dormant. They grow, they must grow, for the God within you cannot be idle. He responds not to mere words, but to inner acceptance, to deep belief, to the feeling of what is imagined being true. If you feel poor, broken, or defeated within, your world will reflect it. If you feel rich, healed, or victorious inside, that will become your experience. It is not magic, it is law. The law of consciousness, the law of God within you. So many people live as if they are cut off from divine help, praying to a God they think is somewhere beyond the sky, hoping he hears them, fearing he does not. But the moment you become still, the moment you quiet the noise of the world and listen to that subtle presence within, you will discover that he was never absent. He has always been with you, disguised as your own thoughts, as your awareness of being. You say, I am, and you speak his name. That I am is not small, it is the name of God. It is the doorway through which all things enter your life. When you say, I am sick, you are inviting sickness to take form. When you say, I am healed, you are placing yourself in harmony with the state of health. The words you add to I am are declarations to your inner self, to the God that hears you not with ears but through identity. This is the greatest friendship you will ever know, a friend who listens even when you are silent, a friend who acts not when you beg, but when you believe. He has given you the power to create, and he moves according to your inner world. That inner world is more real than anything your five senses report. You can close your eyes and walk in a new reality. You can sit in silence and feel a new identity. You can taste freedom while still surrounded by chains. And those chains must fall away because the God in you honors your assumption. He does not argue, he does not delay. He simply mirrors what you accept. This divine friend does not operate through struggle. You do not need to fight to get his attention. You already have it. The moment you feel the truth of something, even if only in your imagination, it begins to form. If you hold on to it with persistence and love, it must become flesh. This is why your awareness is so sacred. This is why your imagination is so powerful. This is why your inner dialogue is the script of your future, because God is in you, and He is listening through the vibration of your being, not your lips. The outer world is simply a reflection of the inner. To change what you see, you must first change what you accept within. Every time you imagine a better future, you are speaking to your divine friend. Every time you believe in yourself when the world says you shouldn't, you are walking hand in hand with God. Every time you forgive yourself, every time you close your eyes and feel peace despite the storm around you, every time you persist in a vision of success while others doubt you, you are aligning with the greatest presence you will ever know. This is not philosophy, it is experience. The more you live from within, the more you discover that your inner world is not passive. It is active, it is creative, it is divine. Even your desires are not accidents. They are whispers from the God within, nudging you toward the fulfillment He already sees. The longing in your heart, the dreams that won't leave you, the quiet hope that stirs late at night. These are not illusions. These are signals from the divine consciousness operating in you, reminding you of your power, reminding you of who you truly are. Do not dismiss them. Honor them. Feed them with imagination. Water them with belief. Wrap them in gratitude. And most importantly, dwell in the state of already having them. Because God within you is not moved by the future. He lives only in the now. If you feel something is yours now, then He must shape your reality to match it. You are never at the mercy of your circumstances, no matter how severe. The moment you choose a new state internally, you begin to transcend them. You can rise above limitation by simply assuming the feeling of freedom. You can overcome despair by assuming the joy of being whole. You can break through walls by walking in your mind as though they were never there. The walls may look real, but they have no life of their own. Their life comes from your belief in them. Withdraw that belief and they lose power. Replace that belief with a higher assumption, and the God in you begins to move. He moves quietly, not always with noise and spectacle, but he moves surely. Doors begin to open, people appear, coincidences unfold, but these are not coincidences at all. They are the echoes of your inner world taking form. They are the outer expressions of the God you have trusted, the God you have walked with, the God who has never left you for a single breath. You are not trying to convince Him to help you. You are allowing Him to do what He has always wanted to do, express His fullness through your life. And He does it through your imagination, your faith, your inner state. That is how close He is. That is how personal He is. That is how powerful you are. Every difficulty is an opportunity to awaken your inner power through divine companionship. What often appears to be a trial is not meant to break you, but to lead you inward, to remind you of who walks with you in silence. Life may present you with storms, obstacles, and moments that shake the foundations of your world, but within each of these lies a hidden invitation, a call to remember that you are never facing anything alone. The difficulties are not there to defeat you, but to reveal the strength, the light, the divine presence that has always been dwelling within you. When hardship strikes, the natural tendency is to look outward for answers, for rescue, for something to change in the external world. But the true shift happens within. The problem is never the outer condition, it is always your relationship to it, your inner response, your ability to remember that you are not merely a human fighting to survive, but a being through whom divine power flows. Every difficult moment is a portal, a crack in the ordinary through which the extraordinary can emerge, if only you respond to it with awareness and faith, rather than fear and doubt. The moment you turn inward and become still, the moment you detach from the noise and chaos of the outer world, you will hear a whisper, a calm, assuring presence that does not condemn, does not panic, does not run. That presence is God, and He is not somewhere far away. He is in the stillness. He is in the awareness that watches your thoughts, the space between your worries, the silent witness to your every experience. And in difficulty, this presence becomes clearer, stronger, more visible, if you will allow it. You are not weak. You are not helpless. The God within you is not moved by appearances. He does not tremble when the winds howl or when the world calls it impossible. He knows no lack, no fear, no defeat. And this God is not just beside you. He is in you. He is you at your highest, most loving, most powerful level of being. When you accept this, when you stop identifying with the problem and start identifying with the power, everything begins to shift. The mountain no longer feels immovable. The darkness no longer feels endless, because you are now viewing it through the eyes of your divine companion. You were never meant to walk through life alone. The Creator placed within you all that is needed to overcome, to rise, to transcend. He did not leave you empty. He filled you with imagination, with vision, with the ability to assume a new state of being regardless of current conditions. This is your power. This is the spark of God in you. And every time life challenges you, it is not to destroy you. It is to awaken that divine spark, to bring forth the reality that lies dormant inside your inner world. Think of a seed placed in the ground. It must endure darkness. It must push through resistance. It must trust an unseen force to guide its growth. But within that seed lies the image of the tree, already complete. The difficulty it faces is not a curse. It is part of the awakening, part of the unfolding of its potential. So it is with you. Every hardship is not proof of your weakness, but a sacred process designed to strip away the illusion of separation so that you may realize who you truly are, not a victim, not a beggar, but a co-creator, a vessel of divine expression. When the mind says, I can't, the inner presence calmly replies, I am. When the world says it's over, that still voice whispers, it's only beginning. When the facts scream, there is no way, the truth within affirms, I am the way. But you must be quiet enough to hear it, you must be still enough to receive it, and you must be bold enough to believe it, even when nothing on the outside has changed yet. This is the path through difficulty. Not to fight it, not to run from it, but to use it as the fire that reveals the gold within. The companionship of God in difficulty is not about escape, it is about transformation. He does not always remove the storm, but He gives you the consciousness that walks on water. He does not always change the circumstance immediately, but He changes you, and then you change the circumstance. You begin to see with new eyes. You begin to feel with new strength. You begin to act not out of fear, but from a deep knowing that you are held, supported, and guided by something far greater than what the world can offer. Let every trial be a reminder to shift your attention from the problem to the presence. The moment you do, you stop feeding the difficulty with fear and begin empowering the solution with faith. And as you dwell more and more in that presence, you begin to carry it into every moment of your life. People around you may still be in panic, but you move with peace. Circumstances may still look uncertain, but you walk in certainty, not because of what you see, but because of what you know. You know that you are not alone. You know that every difficulty is already answered. You know that within you lies the same power that shaped the stars. And this knowing is not intellectual, it is felt, it is lived, it becomes your atmosphere. You enter a room and carry that divine frequency with you. You meet a challenge and respond with poise, not panic. You face uncertainty and walk forward as if all is certain, because in truth it is. The God within you is not guessing, He is not reacting, He is creating, unfolding, revealing. And when you allow yourself to merge with His way of seeing, you no longer collapse under pressure. You use your vision and reality with bravery and daring. You ask yourself, what will it take? You rise through it. You are lifted by it. You are awakened by it. This is the miracle of difficulty. It brings you to the edge, not to push you over, but to show you how to fly. It removes your attachments, not to make you suffer, but to make space for something better. It stirs your longing, not to tease you, but to call you home to the truth, that everything you've ever needed is already within. God has never left you, He has only waited for you to see. And once you do, you will never fear again, not because life is easy, but because you have discovered the eternal presence that walks beside you and within you, through every valley and every storm. Assume the feeling of answered prayer. Your inner state shapes outer reality. There is a hidden power within you, a sacred force that responds not to what you say, but to what you feel and believe to be true. This power does not wait for things to improve before it begins its work. It moves the very moment you change your internal state. The world around you is not fixed. It bends to match the reality you hold within. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, when you live inwardly as though your prayer has already been answered, You are aligning yourself with divine law, the law that governs manifestation, creation, and fulfillment. To assume the feeling of the answered prayer means to step into the state where the thing you desire is already yours. It is not hoping, not waiting, not doubting. It is knowing. It is closing your eyes and feeling the peace of already having it. It is walking through the world with the calm assurance that what you have imagined is already on its way, or even better, already here. This assumption is not imagination without power. It is the very channel through which God works in you and as you. He does not respond to pleading or desperation. He responds to identity, to faith, to assumption. You may think, but how can I feel something I don't yet see? That is the sacred mystery. The outer world is not the cause, it is the effect. What you experience on the outside is the result of what you have accepted within. If you wait to feel joy until your life changes, you may wait forever. But if you dare to feel joy now, if you dare to rest in the satisfaction of answered prayer before the evidence appears, then the evidence must come. The world is a mirror, and it cannot reflect anything back to you that you have not first assumed within yourself. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is the signal you send to the creative force within. It is the language of God. When you assume that your desire is already realized, you impress that state upon your subconscious mind, which is one with God. That impression becomes your new self-concept, and your new self-concept becomes your new world. This is not wishful thinking, this is divine principle. The moment you shift your inner state, reality must begin rearranging itself to match people, events, opportunities. All begin to move in harmony with the vibration you have chosen to live in. This assumption does not need effort, it needs sincerity, it needs persistence. You are not forcing the outer world to comply, you are simply living from the truth that what you have desired is already done. You see yourself as already successful. You feel yourself as already loved. You walk as though you are already free. And by doing so, you invite that reality into form. The outer world cannot resist the conviction of the inner world. It must respond. It has no choice, for it is only a projection of your dominant state of being. Many pray with words but cancel their own prayer with fear, worry, and doubt. They ask for one thing but assume another. They beg for healing yet continue to see themselves as sick. They long for abundance yet keep feeling poor. They cry out for change yet remain emotionally attached to the current condition. But true prayer is not words, it is assumption. It is the silent inner acceptance of a new reality. It is the sacred feeling of it is done. And when that feeling is genuine, the change is inevitable. This is why your imagination is so powerful. It is the divine instrument given to you to create your world. When you imagine a scene that implies your desire is fulfilled and you enter it with feeling, you are doing holy work. You are not escaping reality, you are shaping it. You are not ignoring facts, you are aligning with truth. And the truth is that everything begins within. The outer world is not the source of your experience, it is the shadow of your inner world. Change your feeling and the shadow must change too. You can practice this at any moment. You don't need perfect circumstances or a quiet room. You only need the willingness to close your eyes, take a deep breath and ask yourself, what would it feel like if my prayer was already answered? Then go there, feel it, see it, hear the sounds, feel the emotions, walk in the state as if it is happening now. Do not wait for permission. Do not ask how. Simply dwell in the feeling. Your subconscious mind does not know the difference between what is imagined and what is real. It accepts whatever you feel to be true, and once it is accepted, the world begins to conform. This is how God works through you. He speaks through your desires, He moves through your assumptions, He manifests through your belief. You are not waiting on Him, He is waiting on you. to feel it real, to claim it as done, to stop doubting and start dwelling in the end. When you do this consistently, your entire vibration changes. People notice it. Doors open, paths clear, circumstances shift, not because you forced anything, but because you align with what already exists in the unseen realm. You may not know when or how it will come, but that is not your work. Your work is to remain faithful to the feeling, to return to it when the world tempts you to fall back into doubt, to persist in the inner state no matter what appears. This persistence is not stubbornness, it is sacred devotion. You are choosing to live from your divine identity, to walk with God, to accept that the unseen is more real than the seen. And in doing so, you rise above fear. You live from victory, you breathe from peace. There is no desire planted in your heart without the means to fulfill it. The very longing is evidence that it already exists in another realm, waiting for your assumption to bring it into this one. Do not let outer appearances distract you. They are old manifestations, echoes of past thoughts and feelings. Focus on the new. Dwell in the now. Assume that you already are what you desire to be, and do it with joy, with gratitude, with certainty. For in that state you are in union with God. In that state nothing is withheld. In that state miracles are not only possible, they are natural.